The Galactic Council floated above Zinthar Prime, a city of crystal towers and luminous energy bridges. Thousands of representatives from hundreds of advanced civilizations filled the grand chamber. They were sleek, strange, beautiful, and terrifying, all in forms unimaginable to humans. Some had bodies made of liquid metal, others glowed like suns, and a few existed as floating clouds of energy. The council was in session to discuss galaxy-wide matters: trade, defense, energy regulation, and interstellar law. Humans were not invited. Officially, the council considered Earthlings a primitive species. They had barely scratched interstellar travel, and their technology was rudimentary compared to most galactic civilizations. But humans had something the council could not measure: audacity. Captain Ilara Hayes of the starship Intrepid Dawn stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the glowing control panels. Around her, a crew of humans moved with quiet efficiency. Lieutenant Marco, the ship's navigator, tapped the console nervously. "Captain, are we really doing this?" Ilara smiled faintly. "Yes, Marco. Today humans stop being invisible. The council needs to see us, hear us, understand that we matter." The Intrepid Dawn jumped into hyperspace and emerged directly above Zinthar Prime's council chamber. Energy shields shimmered as the humans bypassed orbital defenses. Inside, the council representatives froze. A human ship had never entered the chamber before. The warning signals blared, but Ilara ignored them. "Attention, Galactic Council," she broadcasted across the chamber. "This is Captain Ilara Hayes of the human starship Intrepid Dawn. Humans refuse to remain on the sidelines. We demand a voice in your decisions." There was silence, then murmurs. A cacophony of alien voices in a dozen different languages, all translated into a common tongue by the chamber's universal translator. Some delegates laughed. Others glared. A few hovered forward, intrigued by the audacity of these small, two-legged creatures from a blue planet. "Humans," intoned one massive, crystal-skinned delegate. Its voice resonated through the chamber. "You enter uninvited. You break protocol. Explain why we should not simply remove you from our space." Ilara held her head high. "Because despite your belief, humans are not primitive. We survive where others fail. We innovate when others stagnate. And we understand things that even you, so-called advanced civilizations, cannot imagine." The chamber erupted into heated debate. Some called humans reckless, others brilliant. One small bird-like representative screeched, "They cannot possibly have technology to match ours." Ilara gestured to the display behind her. The Intrepid Dawn projected a hologram of a nanotechnology matrix, tiny machines building energy shields in real time. The display shifted, showing new forms of energy propulsion, shielded drones, and adaptive weapons that could respond to any attack automatically. A delegate made a sound of alarm. "This is impossible. Their shields, their energy systems. It surpasses our predictions." Ilara's voice was calm but firm. "Impossibility is a human standard. We redefine it. If you refuse to include us in your council, I warn you, we may act on our own in ways you cannot predict." Some delegates whispered to each other. Others hovered closer, trying to understand the humans' technology. The atmosphere was tense, electric, with a mixture of fear, fascination, and disbelief. Then a scout ship's alarm sounded from the outskirts of the galaxy. A massive disturbance rippled through hyperspace. Reports flooded in. Entire systems were being destroyed. Planets vanished without trace, their stars dimming suddenly. The council's fear was palpable. Ilara turned to her crew. "We've been waiting for this. This is why we came." "What is it, Captain?" asked Lieutenant Marco, his voice tinged with fear. "Something the galaxy calls the Vorath," she replied. "An apex predator. They say no civilization survives it, and now it's moving toward the populated regions. We can't wait for the council to act. They'll debate while systems burn." The council chamber descended into chaos. Delegates argued, screamed, and issued commands, but nothing happened. Fear had frozen them. Only humans remained calm. Ilara activated the ship's communications. "Prepare the fleet. We're going after it." Even the council representatives watched as a human-led fleet of small, fast, and well-coordinated ships jumped into hyperspace. They were not many, certainly not enough to match a predator of galactic legend, but humans relied on strategy, not numbers. On the Intrepid Dawn, the crew moved with precision. Engineer Sarah checked the energy shields. Captain, the Predator's energy readings are off the charts. It can absorb star energy, Alara nodded. We know, but we have something it won't expect. Adaptation. Humans don't just face challenges. We turn them into opportunities. Keep your eyes open, everyone. Stay smart. Stay alive. The journey to the Predator's last known location was tense. On board the ship, humans shared stories to ease the fear. Stories of Earth's past, times when humans had faced overwhelming odds and survived. It reminded them why they were the species that could do what others could not. Finally, the Vorath appeared. It was enormous. A creature spanning hundreds of kilometers, its body rippling with energy. It moved through space like a living storm, absorbing starlight and releasing it in destructive bursts. Its eyes, if they could be called eyes, glowed with intelligence. This was no mindless beast. Alara's voice was steady. This is it. Remember, our goal is not just survival. We will study it, learn it, and if possible, communicate. Humans have never backed down. Not now, not ever. The first encounter was terrifying. The Vorath released a massive burst of energy. Ships that miscalculated the speed of their shields were torn apart instantly. Humans adapted quickly, redirecting energy shields, splitting the fleet into unpredictable patterns, and striking weak points the creature did not anticipate. The Council's scouts monitored from a distance, their sensors unable to fully understand the human tactics. Some whispered to each other. How do they do this? Alara shouted commands. Flank left. Use the energy redirection. Don't let it corner us. The humans' strategy worked. They were nimble, clever, and fearless. Every human instinct and calculation was used to counter the Predator's strength. Despite its power, the Vorath could not anticipate human unpredictability. Hours passed. The Predator withdrew temporarily, moving into the shadow of a neutron star. It was not defeated, only cautious. But humans had survived, and they had learned. Alara turned to her crew. This is only the beginning. The galaxy thinks humans are reckless, small, and weak. But today, they saw what we can do. And the Council? They are watching. We've proven we are not to be ignored. As the human fleet regrouped, the Council began to speak. The voices were hesitant, unsure. Perhaps humans have potential, one delegate said. Another added, they may be unpredictable, but their courage? It is remarkable. Alara allowed herself a small smile. Humans had not yet won the battle, but they had won something more important. Respect. And for humans, respect was earned through action, not words. The intrepid Dawn and its fleet set a course for the Predator's next known location. They knew the next encounter would be deadlier. The Vorath was smart, powerful, and relentless. But humans had something the galaxy underestimated: ingenuity, adaptability, and the audacity to act when others only feared. Alara looked at the stars stretching before them. We are humans, she said softly. We survive, we fight, and we will face whatever comes next. The fleet moved forward into the dark reaches of space. Somewhere out there, the galaxy's apex predator waited, and humanity, small but unyielding, would meet it head-on. The Council watched in silence, realizing that for the first time, humans were not merely a planet-bound species. They were a force, and soon every civilization in the galaxy would understand that recklessness, courage, and intelligence could change the course of history. Part 1 ends with humans boldly moving toward danger, not with fear, but with determination. A species ready to prove that they belong among the stars. The intrepid Dawn and its small human fleet moved carefully through the dark expanse of space. Stars shone faintly in the distance, many already extinguished by the path of the Vorath. Its trail of destruction stretched for light years, a terrifying reminder of what humans faced. Yet fear did not touch the human crew. They had survived the first encounter, and more importantly, they had learned. Captain Alara Hayes stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the instruments. Sensors indicate the Vorath is ahead, she said. Her voice was calm, though the tension in the room was heavy. Remember, this is not just a fight. We need to understand it, adapt to it, and survive it. Lieutenant Marco, still pale from their previous encounter, nodded. Captain, it's enormous. Even from a distance, the energy readings are off the charts. Alara smiled faintly. That's why it underestimated us last time. It doesn't know humans can think differently. It only predicts strength, not strategy. Engineer Sarah checked the shields. Our adaptive shields are holding. But if it focuses its energy, it could destroy us in seconds. Ilara turned to the entire crew. Then we make sure it never gets that chance. Humans survive by being unpredictable. Trust your training, trust your instincts, and follow the plan. The fleet advanced into uncharted space. Planets and asteroids passed by as they followed the Vorath's trail. Occasionally, they saw signs of the Predator's previous hunts: destroyed colonies, lifeless ships, and scorched planets. It was a chilling sight, but it strengthened the humans' resolve. "Captain," said Marco, pointing to a large, glowing object ahead. "Sensors indicate a massive energy buildup." "It's the Vorath." The crew held their breath. The Vorath emerged slowly from behind a dying star. Its body was enormous, stretching hundreds of kilometers. Streams of energy arced across space as it absorbed the light from the star, creating waves of destructive power. Its presence was overwhelming, but humans remained focused. Ilara raised her hand. "All ships split into attack formation Alpha. Keep your distance but observe closely. We are learning, not rushing blindly." The Vorath sensed the fleet immediately. It released a surge of energy, sending ships spinning, but humans were ready. Adaptive shields absorbed the initial burst and the fleet moved in unpredictable patterns. The Predator, massive as it was, could not anticipate their strategy. "Focus on observation, not destruction," Ilara commanded. "We are here to understand, not just fight." For hours, the human fleet maneuvered around the Vorath, mapping its patterns and testing its reactions. Every move taught them something new. They noticed it paused before attacks, that it could sense energy but struggled with rapid changes, and that it reacted to precise coordination rather than brute force. Engineer Sarah leaned over a console, her eyes wide. "Captain, I think I see a weakness. Its energy absorption works best in direct line of sight. If we can redirect its energy with shields, we could slow it down." Ilara nodded. "Then that's our plan. We're going to lead it somewhere we can control the battlefield. Keep it moving, keep it reacting to us. That's how humans survive, by thinking faster and smarter." The fleet lured the Vorath toward a dense field of neutron stars. The energy from the stars could amplify or trap the Predator's own power. Humans used small decoy ships to draw its attention, while the intrepid Dawn prepared a precise trap using gravitational fields and energy reflection technology. The first strike was terrifying. The Vorath released a massive burst of energy, melting two of the decoys instantly. The human fleet dodged narrowly, adaptive shields flaring bright against the destructive wave. "Hold formation," Ilara shouted. "We are not afraid." The Predator charged toward the humans, releasing arcs of star energy, but the humans used their maneuverability to confuse it, forcing the creature to split its energy. Then, in perfect timing, the fleet redirected the energy through gravitational traps, slowing the Vorath's movement. It roared, if such a sound could be called a roar in the vacuum of space. The humans watched it hesitate. For the first time, the Predator paused, observing them rather than attacking. Ilara leaned forward. "It's intelligent." "It's not just a beast. It's thinking," Lieutenant Marco whispered. "Then maybe it can be reasoned with?" Ilara nodded slowly. "Maybe. Humans don't just fight with weapons. We fight with ideas, with strategy. We survive with intelligence. That's our greatest power." The humans tried something new. They projected a pattern of light pulses and energy waves toward the Vorath, using mathematics and physics as a universal language. The pulses were rhythmic, precise, and designed to catch the Predator's attention. Slowly, carefully, the creature stopped its attack. It observed the humans, tilting its massive head as if trying to understand the signals. "Captain, it's responding," Sarah exclaimed. "Yes," Ilara replied. "It's not hostile." "Not completely. It hunts, yes, but it is curious. That's our opening." Over hours, humans continued to communicate using energy patterns. The Vorath, massive and terrifying, began to mimic simple pulses. Humans realized it could learn. They were not just fighting, it was a dialogue, a test of intelligence. Finally, Ilara spoke across the fleet's communication network. "We offer you a solution. There is a system nearby with enough energy and resources to sustain you without destroying inhabited planets. If you go there, you can hunt without threat to others. This is our offer." The Vorath paused, its energy flaring softly. Then slowly, it turned toward the proposed system, moving carefully, almost thoughtfully. The humans had done what the galaxy had considered impossible. They reasoned with the apex predator. The fleet exhaled in relief. Ilara allowed herself a small smile. Humans survive not by strength alone, but by thinking, adapting, and choosing actions wisely. Today we did what no one else could. The council watched from afar, their sensors unable to hide their astonishment. They communicated, one alien whispered. They actually reasoned with it. Back on the intrepid Dawn, the crew celebrated quietly. No champagne, no parties, humans were always practical. But there was laughter, relief, and pride. They had faced a being that had destroyed civilizations and survived. More than that, they had won respect. Not through violence, but through ingenuity and courage. Alara looked at the stars again, her mind already planning future moves. The galaxy now knows humans are not to be ignored. We are small, yes, but we are smart, brave, and adaptable, and wherever danger appears, humans will meet it head-on. The human fleet returned to the Galactic Council, the Vorath's trail behind them calm and safe. Council delegates met them, hesitation and awe on every face. No longer could they call humans primitive. No longer could they ignore them. Humans had proven something the galaxy had underestimated. Audacity, intelligence, and courage were more powerful than sheer strength. A council delegate finally spoke. Captain Hayes, humans, your actions today, you have saved countless civilizations. You have earned your place among the stars. Alara nodded. We did what we had to do. Humans survive. We fight when necessary, but we also think. That is our greatest weapon. The council deliberated for hours. They decided finally to invite humans as full members. Humans would now have a voice in galactic matters. But more importantly, humans had shown that courage and intelligence could overcome fear, and that even the most terrifying beings could be reasoned with. The intrepid Dawn returned to Earth as heroes, not because they had destroyed the apex predator, but because they had faced it, understood it, and found a solution. Humanity had proven that audacity, ingenuity, and the willingness to act when others feared could change the galaxy. Captain Alara Hayes stood on the bridge one last time before docking. She looked at her crew proud. Humans are small in the universe, yes, but we have something the galaxy cannot ignore. Courage, brains, and the will to survive. Remember that. It is why we belong among the stars. The crew nodded. They had faced the unimaginable, survived, and thrived. The galaxy would remember this day. Humans had crashed the council, confronted the galaxy's apex predator, and emerged victorious. Not by destruction, but by thought, strategy, and humanity itself. And so, a new chapter began. Humans were no longer the small, unimportant species at the edge of the galaxy. They were a force, unpredictable, clever, and courageous. And wherever the future led, the stars would always remember that humans had stared into the darkness and refused to back down. Part 2 ends with humanity fully recognized by the galaxy. Victorious through intelligence, courage, and adaptability. The Vorath lives, but in harmony with humans' guidance, proving that even the most terrifying challenges can be met with reason and bravery.